beginning, we have already provided you the total schedule and the units those will be covered per class per day. So I think your interacting sessions should be actually interesting. That means you can ask some questions, get your doubts clarified, then only it will get some value to you and to us. Okay, then now I am inviting your today's counselor, Dr. Sanjukta Maharana, who will be continuing for next 6 days, 6 classes on BPSC 131. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hello. Your paper is Introduction to Political Theory. So you are the student of political science. What is political science? That some people term that politics is not good thing. Is it right? No, it is not right. The problems we are facing in the day-to-day life and in the society, we are facing a lot of the problem. We are facing a lot of the problem in our day-to-day life, in the social activity, in the political activity, and to solve this problem in a rational manner is the main work of political science. Professor David Easton says that political science is the authoritative allocation of values for the society. The sources available in the society are very limited. Authoritative means wait a minute. David Easton says that political science is the authoritative allocation of values for the society. So what is authority? Authority means that have the legal powers. We obey some authority because we have to, that authority have the rules and the regulations. We have to obey that authority. It have some rules and the regulations. That's why we have to obey that authority. Then the society, in the society, the sources are limited. So every people want to maximize the resources. Distribution, valuable distribution or allocation is necessary in each and every step. So what is the duties of the authority is the valuable distribution of the resources, and that work is also done by the politics. Then now we come across two things. One is politics and other is political science. So what is politics? What is the difference between politics and political science? We know there is theoretical working of the government, theoretical working of the legislature, executive, judiciary, bureaucracy, etc. The theoretical working, functioning, and the practical working and functioning. The theoretical part is done by political science, and the practical working of the government is the main work of politics. So your paper is Introduction to Political Theory, paper number 131. The term politics is derived from Greek word polis, meaning both city and state. Who is the father of political science? That everybody knows that Aristotle, Greek political philosopher. Aristotle is the father of political science. Politics among the ancient Greeks was a new way of thinking, feeling, and above all being related to one's fellow. That's why politics is rational, and it means that equal distribution of the power, equal distribution of the resources available in the society. That although the citizens varied in position in terms of their wealth, intelligence, etc., it is a concept of politics, or it is the main work of the politics, is the equal distribution and rational distributions of the resources available in the society. Aristotle knew that some element of democracy is essential to be best kind of balanced constitution. Aristotle, who is considered as the father of political science, he calls polity. Polity is the best form of constitution. Why polity is the best form of the constitution and not democracy? Democracy.
Sorry to disturb you, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I don't get the BPSC 131 book, so I need to write all this, what you are telling?
You can download the book from eGyanKosh and you can ask the questions at the end of the class.
Okay, sorry to disturb.
So the Greek political philosopher Aristotle, he studied a lot of the constitution, nearly 158 constitution in the world, and at last he gave the ideal constitution, the features of the ideal constitution. So main thing, you know that the academy is the educational institution where almost many scholars at that time they were reading in that institution. So now the theoretical understanding is political science and practical understanding is politics. So politics is the actual working of the government, actual working of the executive, actual working of the legislature, actual working of the judiciary. Now politics as a practical activity is the discourse, and it is struggle over organization of the human possibilities. Politics is a phenomena found in all groups. Politics is found in all groups activities. It found in all institutions and societies, cutting across private and public life. It is expressed in all the relations, institutions, and structures that are implicated in the production and reproduction of the life of the society. That's why politics creates and conditions all aspects of our lives, and it is the source, it is the core of the development of the collective problems and the mold of their resolutions. That's why politics is not a biased thing now. Politics is not a biased thing. The day-to-day problems, the main work of the politics is the problem resolutions or conflict resolutions. Lot of the problems are emerging in the day-to-day life that are the collective problems, and the work of the politics is the resolutions of that problem. So what is the nature of politics? It is a collective activity involving people who accept a common membership or at least knowledge of shared fact. That's why it is a political activity, means it is a group activity. When there is groups, there is communication is necessary element. Communication is therefore the central elements or central point of the politics. Political decisions become authoritative. There is the need of the authority. Authority has the legitimate power to rule. That authoritative policy for a group is necessary, and that the rule of that authority that have the binding force. Binding force means you need to obey that force. It has coercive force. Means you are bound to obey the rules and the regulations if necessary. Politics scarcely exists in decisions are reached solely by violence, force, or use of threat, undermining the process of reaching a collective decisions. That's why it has collective character. That's why politics is not a biased thing. The main elements of politics is the human being. Without human being, the politics have no value, because everybody heard about the behavioral revolutions. Behavioral revolutions that before behavioral revolutions, political science was not it. Before political at that time, before behavioral revolutions, political science was theory oriented. It is not practically oriented. Why? Because the main element that are the human beings. Human beings have not given so much importance before behavioral revolutions. And the main aim of the politics was at that time not the resolutions of the existing conflict at that time. Okay, that's why the main aim of the behavioral revolutions that was led by David Easton, Gabriel Almond, their main aim was to make the politics society oriented, value oriented, to solve the day-to-day problem of the life. That's why politics is the main elements of the society. Now, your paper is political theory. What is political? Everybody knows that what is political. Now, what is theory? Theory is a coherent conceptual scheme designed to understand and explain a subject or a phenomena. Coherent conceptual scheme means the things it is interrelated. First, if you want to understand the concept of democracy, if you read the holistic theory of democracy, the Marxist theory of the democracy, then you must gain a complete idea about democracy. That's why theory is a set of ideas. It is a set of coherent ideas, interrelated ideas. Ideas are interrelated with each other. Ideas are interrelated with each other. There is a paragraph. If one sentence is not related to the other sentence, then it is not understood properly. In the same way, if one idea is not related with the other ideas, then you cannot understand the basic things. That's why ideas are interrelated with each other. Whether the object is social or biological or political or anything. Every human being is more or less a theorist or theorician. That's why he prepares a theory deliberately, consciously or unconsciously to present a new idea. Theory is necessary in every aspect. Okay. Now, politics is an inseparable features of the human element, and there is the participation of the peoples. Politics concern the rivalries of the politicians in their struggle for the power. Politics concern the rivalries of the politician in their struggle for the powers, means that in the society that you know that there are the politician. It is politics. No, it is not politics. Toutery is not politics. The resolutions of the problem in the day-to-day life is the main aim of the politics. Then, what is state? A new issue come here, that is state. The Greek city-state that everybody knows that the Aristotle, the fathers of the political science, he say the Greek city-state is clearly different from the modern nation-state, which has dominated world politics since the time of the French revolutions. The contemporary liberal democratic state which exists in the Britain and Western Europe is different from the fascist type of the state that was led by the Hitler, or in Italy, Mussolini. There are different types of the state in the modern world: capitalist state, democratic state, communist state, fascist state, or Nazi state is now not in existence. It was there after the World War, before World War II. That is one type of the authoritarian state. Now, state difference on account of the political institution and the social context. There is difference between the Western type of the state and Soviet type of the state. What is the difference between the Western or capitalist state or Soviet state? Western type of the state or capitalist state, there is no nationalization of the private property. The people have the right to keep their private property, and it was one type of the open state. But Soviet type of the state, that is nationalization of the private property, and almost all the powers, all the things are concentrated on the state only. Nationalization of private property means all the properties of the common people are rest on the state.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm not getting which page you are going through. Can you please let me know?
Now I am elaborating state. State is an important page.
Which unit?
11, page number 11.
Block 1.
Yes, block 1.
Unit 1.
Unit 1.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Then, in Western type liberal democratic state, those who form the government are indeed with the state power. They speak in the name of the state and take office in order to control the levelers of the state power. The state have all the power. Okay. Then another concept of the state, Raphael Miliband's view of the state. He writes a book. The name of the book is The State in Capitalist Society. He registered those different elements of the state, that everybody knows that there are four elements of the state. Which are the four elements of the state? Government, populations, territory. What is the other? Then the first, but no means the only element of the state apparatus is the government. The first element of the state is government. The second element is the administrative element. They are the civil servants or the bureaucracy. The administrative executive is in liberal democratic system supposed to be neutral or carrying out the orders of the politician. The politicians, they have to stand in the front, and in their there is the bureaucracy. But actually the rules and the regulations which are made by the politicians, that work are actually done by the bureaucrat or bureaucracy. Third, Milabanda list some list form of the military and the police or order maintaining or repressive arms of the state. Obviously, in the state, we are facing lot of the disorder also because it is a collective activity. So, obviously, there is a need of the military power or the police force necessary for maintaining rules and the regulations in the society. And the fourth element, there is the needs of the judiciary, the rule implementing agency. In any constitutional system, the judiciary is supposed to be the independent. Judiciary should be independent. It should be impartial. It is the independent of the holders of the government power. And the fourth element is the local government, local self-government. If the people's rules themselves, if the people's rule themselves properly, if the people's make in their heads the proper rules and the regulations, the democracy, everybody knows this democracy, the grassroots level of the democracy, the main functioning of the accountability or transparency. That's why the local government is necessary for a federal system. These units are considered independent from the central government, controlling their own sphere of the power. Their government is constitutionally debarred from interfering. That is, in the federal form of the government, it has two units. One is central units and other is federal units. That is the state level. The rules and the regulations made by the different units, then the different organs, they have to obey the rules and the regulations. Then we have different forms of the state: tribal state, Oriental Empire, Greek city-state, Roman wall empire, feudal state, modern nation state. The modern nation state arose after the Treaty of the Westphalia. From this Treaty of the Westphalia, the term sovereignty is emerged. That is the supreme power of the state. The Treaty of the Westphalia was signed in the year 1648. It led to the emergence of the territorial state, consolidating political authority within a particular territory, excluding domestic or external. Then, the modern concept of the state is dominated by liberal and Marxist perspective. The liberal perspective of the state, it is very much changing or dynamic, as it has changed with the time depending on the interest and needs of the individuals and the society. Because the society is also changing, that's why the aim of the liberal perspective is to suit or cope the situation which are necessary from time to time. The early liberal views of the state was negative, as it favored non-interference of the individual matter. If there is non-interference of the individual matter, it is the early form of their view. But recently, to cope or cooperate something to the changing situation is the main work of the state activity. But the Marxist notion rejects liberal ideas of the state, calling the state as an instrument of the class. The Marxist theory or Marxist notion rejects the state powers, rejects the state activities. At last, the Marxist theory says that there is withering away of the state. It said the state is not a good institution, it is a biased institution. That's why the state is the main instrument for the class oppression, Because in the Marxist notions of the state, there are two classes in the society. One is rich classes and other is poor classes. Always the state is an instrument of the exploitations of the poor classes in the hands of the rich classes. That's why they always reject the state power or state capacity. Then at last there is withering away of the state. Third, there is the feminist perspective of the state. Here, there are two types of the feminist. One is liberal feminist and other is radical feminist. Liberal feminists say the state can play a role in bringing equality among men and women. Always the liberal feminists, they are so much liberal that they always want for the empowerment of the female, and they set the equality among men and women by taking steps like increasing seats for women in the parliament, extending welfare scheme for the women. But the radical feminists, they are to some extent radical, and they say the state is an instrument of the power and blame unequal distribution of labor in a family for women's unequal status in the society. Because if there is unequal distributions of the labor in a family, there is unequal distributions of the power and status in the society. Hence, they contest the liberal view of the state is an impartial and neutral. Okay. Then, now the concept of the power is immersed. So what is power? Although the state depends on the force, we have military force, we have police force, there is need of this for the safety of the people, there is need of the police force. For the safety of the country or the state, there is the need of the military force. That's why it does not rest on the force alone. If we always said that you are bound to obey their things, then you admit to that. Then if I force somebody, then everybody is not, he or she is not in a position to obey the rules and the regulations. There should be some legitimate power. Legitimate powers means the use of the powers comes. That is, if somebody do not want to obey that power, some instinct comes that he is forced to, and he is bound to obey that power. Power is in general, and so the power of the state can be exercised in different way. Coercion is one form of the power and perhaps the easiest to understand, but it is not the only one. Legitimate, that's why legitimate use of the power is necessary. That now you are listening, that I have the authority to teach you. That's why you are listening me. You are not listening the outsider, because that outsider don't have the authority to teach you. And that have no some meaningful things. That's why there is legitimization, means that people have the authority. Legitimacy is the non-ruler obedience of the ruler's right to rule. Legitimacy is the non-rulers, means the people. The non-rulers obedience of the right to rule. Here, legitimate authority is a power relations in which the power holder possesses an acknowledged right to command, and power subject and acknowledged obligations to obey. Legitimate authority is the power relations. It is the relations of the power in which the power holder, there is a power holder possesses an acknowledged right to command, that have the right to command you. And the power subject, that is the other side, that have an acknowledged means obligations to obey. Max Weber is a philosopher. Max Weber on legitimation. Se legitimation upre kono kahichanti Max Weber. Max Weber says that there are three types of the authority. One is rational legal authority. Second, traditional authority. Then charismatic authority. Rational legal authority has rational sources. Traditional authority has traditional sources, and charismatic authority has charismatic sources. What is this? First, rational legal authority. Here, authority holders derive legitimacy or the power to rule from some formal offices recognized by the laws, regulations, or even by the constitution. They have the power to rule and they are recognized by some rules, regulations, or even by the constitution. They are not rule you in a biased manner. They have the right to rule. In other words, the rational legal authority has a right to rule because he holds the formal offices recognized by the laws, regulation of the constitution. Okay, that for example, the Prime Minister of the India rule us because that have the rational authority to rule us. That authority comes from the constitution. That rules and the regulations comes from the constitution. That's why it rules us. Secondly, the second type of the authority is the traditional authority. Traditional authority, it is the primitive form of the authority. In case of the traditional authority, the right to rules comes from the old established rules, regulation, custom, etc. That they have their power holder, traditional authority holder or incumbent, and that authority holder it derives from some traditional rules, regulations, custom. For example, the tribal chief. Tribal chief have the authority to rule, and that authority is derived from their own rules and the regulations. It has not rational. There is a then third, charismatic authority. Charismatic authority, in case of charismatic authority, legitimacy does not come from any external forces. It springs from or it comes from the authority holder in himself and nijar vitru se power ta paiti. Due to the extraordinary qualities, that is known as charisma. The charismatic authority rules over the society. The charismatic authority has the right to rule because he possesses some God-gifted exceptional quality, and that quality is not found in the common man. Okay, that is the legitimacy. Then legitimations. That's why legitimizations, that is the central concerns of the political science. These are the reasons because of which C. Wright Mill puts it, the idea of legitimization is one of the central conception of the political science. The study of the politics is generally or centrally concerned with the methods by which holders of the authority get their power justified. The holder of the authority have to put their power justified. He rules you. The rulers rules you because it have the justified authority, justified power to rule you. It is not biased. Then then process of delegitimizations means why people are sometimes not in a position to obey the authority. This explains why a revolution is often arised in the society. Why a revolution is often arised in the society. This explains why revolution is often preceded by a period when the dominating ideas of the system are subjected to sustained decisions. Why revolution arises in the society? If people are not in a position or not happy with the rules and the regulations, then revolutions obviously arise. One may call this as process of delegitimizations, whereby the ideas which justify the existing structure of the power come under attack. The existing structure of the power comes under criticisms. Long before the fall of the ancient regime, that is France, in France, there was France revolutions. 1700, in the year 1789, the France revolutions was occurred on the call of the rights, liberty, and the equality. At that time, the people were unhappy with the divine rights and the authority were ridiculed and refused by the philosophers. In the same way, there was the American revolutions also in America. And when the peoples are not happy with the power structures of the society, then definitely revolution arose. And there are the process of delegitimizations. Peoples are not in a position to obey the rules and the regulations of the society, and they term it as delegitimized. Then unit second, what is political theory? The main element of the political theory that is in the first unit I elaborate what is theory. It is a coherent conceptual ideas. That political theory is one of the core areas in the political science. It is only in the recent times that it has emerged as an academic discipline. The main elements of the political theory, it arose in recent year. A theory is an essential element for the development of every subject of the study. The term theory has been derived from Greek word theoria, Theoria, theoria. And the theory have two sense. One is broad sense and other is narrow sense. In broad sense, the word theory includes the entire teaching on a subject, that is the descriptions of the facts, thinkers, explanation, his perceptions of the history, his values, judgment, and his proposals of goals, policies, and principles. Everything. In narrow sense, the term theory means explanatory thought only, at least primarily, only explanatory thought. Now, first, its area extend to the realm of the political life. The arena of the political theory extend to the realms of the political lives of the citizens, his political power, his political behavior, his political ideas, the government he establishes, and the tasks which are performed by this government. Secondly, it includes the description, explanation, investigations of the political phenomena. Thirdly, political theory is mainly concerned with the political activity. It seeks to understand political in relations to the social, economics, psychological, ecological, historical, and moral aspect. Fourthly, political theory seeks to build a good state in a society. The main aim of the politics or political theory is to build a good society. For this purpose, it seeks to create processes, procedures, rules, regulations, and structures which have been historically tested. The testing things, if we try to implement it, that definitely there is no need of the revolutions. Then, which are the subject matter of political theory? The subject matter of the political theory is varied since Greek times. From early Greeks till the ends of the 18th century, political theory mainly century political theory mainly concerned itself with what politics ought to be, means what should. Here the term should arises. However, in 19th century it mainly concerned itself with the nature and structure of the government as a decision-making body. Because now, after the Second World War, different type of the thinkers, economics, sociologists are invited to give suggestion for the reconstruction process of the society, but political scientists are not invited. Why? Because at that time, the theories which were prevalent in the society, there is no need of this theory to solve the problems at that time. The main aim of the politics is not society oriented, that is not in a position to solve the day-to-day problem of the society. Then different type of the political thinkers at the time thought themselves and engaged themselves to build different types of the new theory. The name of the David Stern, Rabel Almond, they try themselves to engage themselves to give different type of the theory, Stern theory, Almond theory, they are developed and they want to make the society value neutral. Here, before behavioral revolutions, the human beings are ignored. After behavioral revolutions, because without studying the human behavior, that politics have no value. Because in the voting procedure, the behavior of the human being is changing. The behavior of the human being is changing. If somebody want to cast vote to somebody, then his or her mind can be changed and he can cast his or her votes to other people also. That's why without ignoring the human behavior, we can't expect the value-oriented political science or political theory. That's why people engage themselves to develop different type of the new theory and make the political science scientific at that time. And they try themselves to solve the problems of the society at that time. In the 19th century, it mainly concerned itself with the nature and structure of the government as a decision-making body. However, with the emergence of the political scientist, under the influence of the scientificism, the death of the political science was announced. Even though traditional British scholars continue to lay emphasis on the values and usefulness of the political theory to guide the political actions. In 17th of the 20th century, once again witnesses the emergence of political theorists who demonstrated the needs of political theory in the fast changing world. Then there is evolutions of the political theory. Classical, the revolution phase is classical political theory, modern political theory, and Marxist political theory. Classical political theory from the 6th century BC to the close of the 18th century is generally known as classical or traditional political theory from 6th century BC to the 18th century BC. The classical theory possesses the following characteristics. Firstly, it is philosophical. It is only deals with the philosophical activity. It sought to establish a rational basis for action. Second, it did not draw any distinction between philosophical, theological, and political issues. In other words, it was not autonomous subject. It considered the state as a natural institution which existed prior to the individual. Then it considered the state as a natural institution which existed prior to the individual. Finally, the classical theory sought to search an ideal state.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Ma'am, can you tell page number?
Page number 23.
Thank you, ma'am.
The classical theory sought to search an ideal state and a stable system of the government. Then the classical philosophy is almost philosophical. It is normative, it is idealistic, and to some extent it is historical. And second is modern political theory. Modern political theory was emerged in 18th and 19th century, resorted to the scientific empirical behavioral study for understanding of the problems of the society. The main features of the modern political theories are: first, facts and data constitute an important part of the modern political theory, the facts and data. And second features, On the basics of the study of the human behavior, generalization can be made. Importance is given to the human behavior. Third, facts and values are separated and the values make the facts as relevant as possible. Value and facts are separated. There is no mix of the facts and value. Modern theory lays emphasis on objectivity, analytical explanation, procedures, observation, and scientific principles. Next features, it is interdisciplinary approaches which includes social, economics, religious, moral, philosophical, ecological, and allied.
Ma'am, how
Yes,
values and facts are separated? Please give an example.
yes,
Ma'am, how
Next.
values and facts are separated?
yes. I'm explaining. The
Thank you.
values and facts are separated means the human behavior, that you know that there is human behavior and government. Understand? There is human behavior is one thing. Human behavior is value.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Facts and values are separated means there is governmental institution,
Yes, ma'am.
executive, legislature, and the judiciary.
Yes, ma'am.
And values is human behavior. Then, in the society, there is value neutral is essential to make the political science society oriented, to make political science for a scientific study, to lead political science in the direction of a scientific study. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Then next feature, much more importance to the realism. Realism means the actual facts that is existent in the society, not the primitive form, and asserts that what the state does it more relevant and then what it had doing or is likely to do. Then third theory is Marxist theory. That Karl Marx, the German philosopher Karl Marx, you might be known this name, is the main exponent of this Marxist theory. The main element of the Marxist theory always says that there is two types of the peoples in the society. One is rich class and other is poor classes. Rich classes are bourgeoisie classes, poor classes are proletariat classes. And state is an instrument for the exploitations of the poor classes in the hands of the rich classes. That's why always the poor classes,
Excuse me, ma'am.
try to abolish the power structure of the society. Yes.
Page number, please.
(26)
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm not saying exactly from your book. I'm elaborating and I try to understand you the concept first. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. It would
But
be
what
better
I am
if
telling, everything is not in your book. I am elaborating. I am explaining something. Okay.
Okay,
Then
ma'am.
I-
It's not in your book.
Yes, I am now elaborating the Marxist theory. Then the two layer of the society, that one is rich classes, other is poor classes. Always the rich classes are exploiting the poor classes of the society. That's why the poor classes always try to eradicate the rich classes, because they also try to prevent themselves from the exploitations of the society. That's why they try to eradicate that rich sections of the society, the bourgeois sections of the society. But all the all the money power, all the power structure, all the governmental structure are possessed by the rich classes. That's why the rich classes, they are not independently given their position or status or structures in the society. There is need of the revolutions, and that revolution had to first in the hands of the poor classes. So in Russia, that is known as Russian revolutions in the year 1917. At the time, revolution woke up in the society, and they definitely eradicate the power structure that was led by the capitalist class. And in the stage, there is a destruction of the capitalism and creation of the socialism society. In that middle period, there is dictatorship of the proletariat class. There is dictatorship of the proletariat class, but the aim of the dictatorship of the proletariat means the poor class. Their aim is not to capture the political power. Their aim is to establish a socialist society. Their aim is to establish a communist society. And their aim is to establish a classless and stateless society. After the abolitions of the state, there is establishment of socialist society, and that capitalist class give all the powers which are owned by them to the state, means to their authority. There is no state. All the rules, all the property owned by the common people, that they are given all the property to their state, means to the central authority, to the governing body, and there is nationalization of the private property, all the property led by the government, and almost all the things are performed by the government. A child from their born to the death, all the works are performed by the government. So there is a socialist, that is a socialist society. The main features of Marxist political theory: every phenomena is in flux. The development always takes place from lower stage to the higher stage of the development, means from the labor classes to the capitalist classes or rich classes. All the development taken place through productive relations, productive forces, and new modes of the production. Means all development takes place through productive relations, productive forces, and new modes of the production. Between minds and matter, it is the latter which dictate. That is, mind dictate, not matter. Matter evolves because the laws of evolution is inherent in it. There is a rules. There is a themes of the evolutions. Because here in the Marxist theory, the laborer are always exploited by the rich classes of the people. That's why a sense they feel themselves that they are exploited by the rich sections of the society, and they were integrated themselves, and a sense developed among them that they are exploited by the bourgeois classes, and they try to throw their classes, and they try for a better form of the society, and all the powers, rules, and the regulation are concentrated in society, and at last there is a classless society. Here every peoples are the equal. Each material base builds its own social, political, economics, and educational superstructure. Material is necessary. Matter is necessary in the Marxist theory, because without material, yes,
Ma'am, that's why revolution can take place.
Due to unequal distribution of the power. Due to the
Yes, ma'am.
unequal distributions of the power, revolutions are taking place in the society. In the Marxist theory, revolutions are taking place because always the rich section, that is the capitalist sections of the society, exploit the poor sections. They exploit the labor classes.
The exploitation makes the revolution.
Yes. The exploitation at last makes the revolutions, and they
Yes,
eradicate the rich structure of the society. They eradicate the capitalist structure of the society.
yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
that is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
Marxist theory.
Yes, ma'am.
Then there is decline of the political theory. Now there is death of the political theory. It is a question: is there a death of the political theory or not? According to some thinker, there has been a decline of the political theory in the recent year. Some says that the political science are dates almost entirely with the probabilistic generations, and that universal generations are rare and perhaps not existent. Means it is to some extent narrow. All these things are uh, analyzed before World War II. Robert Dahl goes to the extent of saying that in English-speaking world, political theory is dead. Robert Dahl said that in English-speaking world, political theory is dead. In communist world, it is imprisoned, bandi heichi. Elsewhere, it is moribund, means in a point to death. So why there is analysis that there is decline of the political theory? It cannot be denied that the conditions of the political theory is in the developing countries is indeed deplorable. Means sochoniya avasthare achi. Because most of the scholars in these countries are tradition oriented or tradition loving. They are not in a position to separate tradition from the power. Further, political theory also witnesses the decline because political theories have taken political theory with political philosophy. There is mix of the politics and the political philosophy. Only they studies the rules, regulation, institutions, and powers of the state. That is only philosophical. Then here, according to David Stern, the present day political thinkers are to be blamed for the decline of the political theory. The thinkers at the time, the political thinkers are responsible for the decline of the political theory because instead of developing new political theories, they are concentrated themselves in the existing political theory. They are never trying for investigate new thing, and they have tried to concentrate on the existing political philosophies. They have failed to develop new political concepts to meet the requirement of the modern society. In the modern society, different types of the problems, new problems are emerging, like terrorism, atomic bomb. According to David Stern, several factors have contributed to the decline of the traditional political theory. One factor is historicism. Always they concentrated themselves in the historical fact. That historicism has prevented the political theories from concentrating on the present day social and political problems. If we try to solve the present problem by studying only the historical facts is necessary, but only if there is limitations of the historical facts, then we never found a proper solutions. Instead, they have concentrated on analyzing the existing principles. Only they analyze themselves to solve the problems of the society in the existing ideas. There is a need of the new ideas. If there is needs of the new idea, there is no decline of the political theory. Secondly, moral relativism has also greatly contributed to the decline of the political theory. Most of the political theory lacks faith in the universal principle of the morality and prefer to follow the moral principles. There is a difference between the universal moral principles and the moral principle. We the common people always follow the moral principle by worshipping, or if I kill some people, if I do some evil thing, that it may not good for me or us. But for the safety and security of the state, if we considered which is moral or immoral, that is here that moral and immoral principle is not separated. Here, the morality of the state is the safety and the security of the state. Always the state want to give you a safety state, a secure state. That is the morality of a state. However, the political theories have failed to evolve new values. Here, Alfred Coben, another different thinker, he said that the main cause of the decline of the political theory has been the concentration of the powers only in a few hands in every state, like in an authoritarian state, in a totalitarian state. There is concentration of the powers only in a few states. The ever increasing power of the state, emergence of a powerful bureaucracy, growing importance of the military in the recent years has also contributed to the decline of the political theory. And another cause which has greatly contributed to the decline of the political theory is the underestimations of the values of the political life. What is the values? That is human behavior. If we do not consider the human behavior, that is the values, then there is no values and there is a decline of the political theory. The present day theories have laid greater emphasis on the scientific method and pushed the study of the political theory to the background. They only concentrated on the scientific method and they pushed the political theory on the scientific background. Because if there is no place of the value and facts, then the political science is not relevant. The emergence of a strong democratic system in most of the countries have also contributed for the decline of the classical political theory. Now in almost all the states are democratic. Ideology has ceased to have an appeal for them. Further, the political scientists have also failed to evolve new concepts and values needed by the society. The new values, new concepts which should be able to solve the day-to-day problems of the society. All are the new things and they have to solve the present problem of the society. That's why there is decline of the political theory. There is a need to develop new theory. There is a need to develop such theory that now how we have to solve the problems, new problem immersed in the society. So there is decline of the political theory, but after the behavioral revolutions in 1945, there is emergence of the new theory, behavioralism, post-behavioralism, then Eastern model, Almond model are emerging in the society and they try to make society, they make the political scientists which are valuable for the society. The resurgence of the political theory from the year 1970s. Scholars like David Easton, the name of his books, The Decline of the Political Theory, another scholar, Alfred Coben, Ethics and Decline of the Political Theory, Robert A. Dahl, Political Truth, Theory and Consequences. They express their own view in these 3-4 books. They express their view that there have been decline of the political theory and some have been gone to the extent of the suggesting that political theory is virtually dead. But in their view, it has been further argued that the political theory is dead, but now it is emerging. After the behavioral revolutions, different type of the theory are emerged in the society, and that theories are valuable to solve the contemporary problems of the society. It has been further argued that fire which has been found in the political philosophies of the thinkers like Rousseau and Marx is still burning and is quite visible in the writings of the many thinkers of the today. That is liberal theory, that is old theory. But now we are studying neoliberal theory. Realist theory is old theory. Now different theory emerging, that is neo-realistic theory. Marxist theory, neo-Marxist theory. All these theories are emerging in the day-to-day life. And these writer holds that the theory are very much exist, but its nature has changed. That the same theories are exist, but to some extent their natures are changing, and that changing nature is helpful to solve the problem of the society. According to Isaac Berlin, it is absolutely wrong to think that political theory is either dead or is on the way to decline. In fact, so long as procedure exists, a desire for justification and explanation in terms of the motives and reasons, political theory will not wholly in a tone of death. According to Isaac Berlin, both at the traditional and the behavioral levels, political theory is very much reviving, or there is resurgence of the political theory. Michael Oxet, Leo Status, etc. They gave their view that political theory is not dead. It is resurgence. It is emerging. It is booming. Its utility and significance is being increasingly realized. It is felt that without political theory, no proper and dependable superstructure can be built. That's why there is no decline of the political theory. There is a booming of the political theory. According to David Held, one of contemporary thinker, he said he gave some features that of contemporary political theory. First, it seeks to examine the significance of event in the historical context. Always the history, the primitive things, they are the root. The primitive things are the root, and from that root, we have to found the fruits. That is, history is the root and political science is the fruit. Okay. Then, second, it looks upon political theory as systematic reflection upon and classification of the meaning of the key terms and concepts such as sovereignty, democracy, and the justice. From the key terms of the sovereignty, democracy, and the justice, new theory are emerging. Social contract theory. There is social contract theory.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Then third, it offers a systematic elaboration of underlying structure of our moral and political activities. Always, different types of the activities are undertaken by us. Always, all these activities are underlined. Fourth, it is concentrated with the abstract theoretical question and particular political issue. Always, all the questions we have to address. Different type of the problem we have to, how we have to solve the terrorism problem, how we have to solve the different problems in the society. All these questions will arise. If we arise this type of the problem, then the main aim of the political theory is the solution of that problem. It is concentrated in the abstract theoretical question and particular political issues. Next, it aims to construct formal model of political process. Always, the political scientists, they try for the development of a formal model of the political process. Next, it makes an attempt to construct theory on the basics of observation and empirical generalization. From the observation, that is Aristotle. Aristotle studied different constitutions of the world, nearly 158 constitutions of the world, and at last he gives the features of ideal constitutions. So there is observation, generalization, empirical generalization is the necessary.
Excuse me.
Yes, Rajesh Naik को पहुंचा कि राजेश नायक
हाँ सर.
पहुंचा
Now you ask question. If you have any doubts,
Ma'am, what is empirical generalization?
yes. Empirical, what is the meaning of the empirical? Empirical means scientific analysis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Empirical means scientific analysis. Empirical means scientific analysis. Scientifically, we have to analyze a thing and last generate a new idea. That is empirical generalization.
Thank you, ma'am.
Contemporary theorists and theorists together could be put some things that opposition to the universal thing, and that contemporary approach also deals with, they criticize all the narratives things, they criticize all the narrow things.
Ma'am, can we say contemporary things as recent things?
Contemporary events, contemporary approach is one approach, the modern approach is termed as contemporary approach. It was developed after behavioral revolutions. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So contemporary political theory, it made its appearance on the intellectual sense in the year 1980s to the 1990s. It was arised mostly reaction against the established traditions, rules, regulations, theories in the society. That is,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, yesterday I asked you that what we have to read. You said that comprehensions are only for your practice. Then what we have to read? Can you tell me specifically, or can I have a sample paper?
Yes. That sample paper I type made.
first time on paper there is no sample paper.
There is no sample paper here. Okay. That you are appearing for the first time, so there is no simple paper. But I will tell you the expected question. Okay. There is emergence of the political theory. I will give you the detailed question. Okay.
Okay, when will I get that?
Yes.
When will I get that?
I will tell you at the last class. At the last class. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, unit ରୁ ବାଛିକିରି expected question last ରେ.
Hello, ma'am.
Any other question?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, ଆମେ କେତେ ଜଣ actually ma'am English ରେ strong ନାହୁଁ, so ଆମେ ହିନ୍ଦୀ option ନେଇଥିଲୁ, so ଆମକୁ ଟିକେ problem ହେଉଛି.
ଶୁଣା ଯାଉନି.
Actually ma'am ଆମେ କେତେ ଜଣ student ଅଛୁ ଯେଉଁମାନେ କି English ରେ strong ନାହୁଁ, ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆମେ ହିନ୍ଦୀ option ନେଇଥିଲୁ ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ ପଢିବା ପାଇଁ.
ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ପଢିବ,
problem ହେଉଛି.
ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ ପଢିବ.
Yes ma'am.
ନା ହିନ୍ଦୀ କ୍ଲାସ ତ ହବନି. ହିନ୍ଦୀ କ୍ଲାସ ହେବନି.
You have to attend this class, retranslate it and write the exam.
You have to attend the class and try to write in English. Okay.
Okay ma'am.
Ma'am, ଓଡ଼ିଆ.
ଓଡ଼ିଆ ହବନି. There is no option of Oriya.
Regional language school, regional
Okay,
language
ma'am.
medium ବନ୍ଦ ହେଇଗଲା.
Regional language ର medium ଟା ବନ୍ଦ ହେଇଯାଇଛି. ଖାଲି English ରେ ଲେଖି ପାରିବ.
English Hindi ଦୁଇଟା.
Okay,
English
ma'am.
ହିନ୍ଦୀ. ଆମର ହିନ୍ଦୀ ନାହିଁ ସାର୍.
Okay, ma'am.
ତାଙ୍କୁ ଯଦି ହିନ୍ଦୀ ବହି ଦିଆଯାଏ
ଦିଆ ହେଉଛି
ଯେ ସେମାନେ ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ ପଢିବୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି.
ଇଂଲିଶ କ୍ଲାସ କରିକି ଇଏ କରିକି ପଢ଼ିବ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ଦେବେ.
ବୁଝେଇ ଦଉଛି. ତମେ ଯଦି ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ ଲେଖିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛ ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ ଲେଖିପାର, ଲେକିନ ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ କ୍ଲାସ ହେଇପାରିବନି. ଇଂଲିଶରେ କ୍ଲାସ ହେବା, ତମେ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସଲେଟ କରିକି ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ ନିଜେ ଲେଖିବ.
ହିନ୍ଦୀ ବି ୟୁଜ କରିପାରିବେ. ତେଲୁଗୁ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ହିନ୍ଦୀ ତାଙ୍କ ମାଇଣ୍ଡରେ ଭର୍ତ୍ତି କରିବେ.
Any other question or doubts for your clarification?
Ma'am, actually, I didn't attend the English class. Can I have that recorded video?
Yes, yes.
How
You
can
can
I
search
get
in
that?
the YouTube. All have been uploaded, huh? That will not
Sorry,
be a
sir.
problem. It has already been uploaded in the YouTube. You can search
Okay.
in the
So
YouTube.
what do I research?
Hmm? Either you can search by BEGLA, those one
Yes.
135, BGLA 135, or it will be all right if you search it by Ganeshwar Tripathi, your counselor who took the class. Okay.
So
Okay.
is
Thank you,
it
sir.
in Bhubaneswar RC channel?
No, it is in the YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sir.
The
Yes,
whole
sir.
world
Thank you.
is seeing it. So no problem for you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube, search by name of Ganesh Tripathi classes or Ganesh Tripathi. That's all. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Available. All the classes are being uploaded in YouTube within 20, maximum within 24 hours.
Okay,
This
sir.
class
Thank you.
by tomorrow evening you will be getting in YouTube. Those who are not attending such classes due to some of their problems, later on they can download it or directly they can listen to the classes online. Okay.
Ma'am, please repeat types of feminist approach. Means liberal approach and radical approach. The difference.
Yes, yes. The liberal thinker, the liberal feminist always thinks that the power, unequal distribution of the power in the society. There is unequal distribution of the power in the society, and that's they always try to development or empowerment of the women. They never try for any type of the revolutions. Okay, that is
Yes, ma'am.
the liberal thinker or liberal feminist. But the radical feminist, they try to maximize the power, maximize the powers in the hands of the female or in the hands of the woman. Okay.
Ma'am, can you repeat reboot civilization? I cannot understand.
Reboot civilization.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Approaches.
Yes, ma'am.
Approaches in political theory.
In 19, you said in 1917, reboot civilization. I could not understand.
1917.
Ma'am, 1 second.
Oh, that is Russian Revolution.
Reboot civilization in the year 1917.
That is not reboot. Russian revolutions. In the year 1917, there was Russian revolution in Russia. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. In the written text, it was wrongly written, so I was confused. So I asked you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Different approaches. You have to study different approaches of the political theory. That historical approach means.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I have already mentioned that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Understand.
Sabine Coben, they are the exponent of the historical approaches. They always place themselves in the history. Normative approach is only philosophical. It only believes in the norms, regulations, philosophies,
Rules, regulations.
and there is the what should be the end of the political institution? In the normative approaches, what should inform the relationship between the individuals and other social organizations? All these
Ma'am, किसी
norms of the
Rules
society,
and regulations.
always concentrated on the norm, regulations, all these we have to concentrate themselves in the society. But the empirical approach, Empirical approach means
Scientific approach.
scientific approach. Yes, 19th century. It is used in the 19th century, and it is not normative approach. Normative approach is not scientific, but empirical approach is scientific.
Normative is based on rule and regulation, but empirical is based on scientific.
Scientific. It is scientific approach. That is always philosophical. Norm means philosophical. Legal system that is only deals with the organization, legislative organ, legislative organ, judicial organ, norms, philosophies. Okay. But empirical approach imparts the scientific knowledge. It is scientific.
That is rule regulation.
Positivism approach.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
That different type of the thinker they immersed in your empirical approach. Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn, that Kuhn's books, The Structure of the Scientific Revolutions. He wrote a book, The Structure of the Scientific Revolutions. That in his book, The Structure of the Scientific Revolution is a pioneer in bringing out the shortcomings and failures of the positivist theory and demonstrated how all cognitions are dependent on understanding and interpretation as a means of intersubjective communications. Means always what I am thinking, what type of the theory I am giving, it is not properly correct. It has to be falsified. If somebody wrote a thesis, that is idea. He or she gives some idea, and that idea is not always correct. It can be falsified. If you argue with me, then you get a new knowledge. And if you only listen and sit in a calm manner, can you get the proper knowledge? No, you can't get. Okay, that's why everything you have to analyze yourself. You have to falsify something in a proper manner, in a just manner. Then we can get a new idea. Another thinker, Karl Popper, said the new mode by laying down the principle of the falsification. Falsifications means if I am given some theory, then you have to falsify this. Means you have to give another directions of that theory. Falsification is the criteria of the scientific knowledge. There was a criteria for a scientific knowledge and argued that all knowledge was conjugal, tentative, and far forth and final truth. All knowledge is not final truth. All are developing towards the final truth. If we reach the final truth, that is the ultimate, then absolute. That is the final. Okay, but we are coming towards final truth. Okay, or any other doubts or any other problems?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, do we have any assignment of political science now?
Assignment? Yes.
Yes.
In
What's the topic?
next class tomorrow, you have to read the next two concepts, liberty and equality. Okay. You are asking about some test?
No, I am asking about the assignment what we have asked to submit that we will get in September.
Okay, for assignment.
Yes.
I am asking.
Okay.
Sir, हमें तो हमको किसी assignment देवा थी. जॉन करो assignment. Assignment.
What's your problem regarding assignment?
Assignment किसी देवे की.
डब्बू भैया का फोन आ रहा है.
Assignment बाबत रे कोन डाउट्स अछि?
Yes, sir. Actually, we have asked that we will get the assignment topic.
When you have taken the admission?
I have taken admission in January.
January. So just
Yes, sir.
forget about the assignment right now because you are going to write your exam during December.
Yes, sir.
So by October, November, at that time you have to write your assignment and submit it.
Okay,
Assignment,
ma'am.
we have been forcing for assignments right now for those learners who had taken admission during July 2019.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
January 2020 admission cycle, June
Yes.
2020 admission cycle. For them, assignment is not needed. Just forget it right now. You attend your class, you read. Assignment time will come before your examination, before your
Okay.
form fill up for the term and examination. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Questions will be uploaded in the website. You will be getting the information. You have to upload the questions, write the answers, make it a
Okay.
report form, and you have to submit it. That is the assignment procedure.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Any other doubts or problem?
Doubts nahi kare kichi.
You can expect a question from
Question का कोई question question.
from what is political theory? What is political theory and elaborate its approaches? Okay? What is political theory and elaborates its approaches?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
What is political theory? What is political theory and
Yes.
elaborate its approaches? The second question, each political theory is dead. If each political theory is dead, question mark.
Sorry. Is political theory
If
is?
political theory is dead,
Can you tell the spelling?
D-E-A-D, dead, D-E-A-D.
Oh, dead. Sorry.
Each political theory is dead, question mark. And discusses about the revival of political theory. And discusses about the revival of political theory. দুইটা question আছে Next
Ma'am, what for these questions are given?
Yes,
What for these questions are given?
probable question for your exam. Probable
Means
question.
Yes.
Probable
Means this will
question
come
for
in
your
exam.
exam.
This will come in December exam, right?
Exam December. Yes.
After 1 year, you are going to sit in the exam.
Yes, I know that. I was asking that we will get these questions in the exam, right?
These are probable questions actually ma'am is giving to you.
All are probable
Okay, these
question,
are-
not exact question.
Okay. That yes, ma'am, that I know.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have to only find and read this, or we have to tell you tomorrow about these answers?
No, you have to read on your own.
Okay.
In the tomorrow classes, you have to read liberty and equality. We will read the concept of liberty and equality. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Any other doubts or question? Any other doubts? Then the class is finished. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.